My name is Sarah McLeod. I'm from the band The Superjesus, and our new album, self-titled, called The Superjesus, first album in 20 years, gets released March 21, which is this Thursday.
Beautiful, Sarah. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Kris. Good to see you again.
As always, I think I've seen you the last three times I've seen you. One's been on a boat, the other one has been in the desert, and now it's from a winery. So you're a
Oh,
lady
yeah, that's right.
spending
We first
taste.
spoke at Rock the Boat, didn't we? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we did. You tried to read my notes and you couldn't read them. They were that messy.
Yeah, because I couldn't work out why you had notes. Just chat. Don't worry about your notes.
Yeah, well, usually if I make shit up as I go, it goes pear-shaped. So I try to have some form of structure.
Yeah, it goes out the window pretty quick.
It does. So we're here today to chat about your new album, which is a self-titled album called The Super G. Is this out this Friday? I think it was March 21st. So
Okay.
how are you feeling about it?
I am excited to have it finally released. It's been a slow process because we've staggered single releases over the last 18 months. So we've put out six singles so far. So seven, eight, nine, 10. So there's only a Romance, Gangbusters, Lonus New Black. So yeah, there's only four more songs to come out that people haven't heard. We've released six singles. It's a 10-track album. But the last four are killers. So we've just been holding them. It's not like here's a bunch of his four album tracks. The last four are some of my favorites. So we deliberately staggered singles and then we kept four nuggets just to spit out at the end to drive it home.
I can actually attest to that because Gangbusters is my favorite song on the whole album and it hasn't even been released yet.
Is it unreal? I love that you say that. I was I was like, I kept thinking I'm going to be the only one that loves Gangbusters. I couldn't believe I even got ready to record it. Because
Oh,
I
wow.
wrote my solo album. I was like, what about we do Gangbusters? And I remember he said to me at first, now it sounds like Ghostbusters and I don't want to know about it. And I was like, yeah, but just give it a chance. Like, go and listen to it. And then he was like, oh no, we can totally do this. I'm like, yeah, we can. It's gonna be great. Yeah, I love Gangbusters. I think we might get some club remixes done of Gangbusters too. That'd be cool.
Get do a Ghostbusters remix.
We gone Cole.
So this is your first album since rock music in 2003, which is a damn long time. But do you feel any extra pressure going into this one because you've got to basically make up for the last 20 odd years?
No,
No?
no, I don't feel any pressure at all. The pressure I feel is pressure I put on myself. All I care about is writing songs that are memorable. And the reason being is that years ago, I did some songwriting for an American label for one of their artists, and they asked me to write them a song. And I wrote a song, and they came back to me and they said, "Sorry, Sarah, it's just not memorable enough." And it was like a stab into my heart and soul. Never forgotten it. And everything after that, I'm like, okay, if you're gonna write, it's got to be memorable. So then that became my new, like, I'm chasing it like a bloodhound. Like, there's hooks. Got to make it catchy. You got to make it memorable. You got to write something that stays with people, that people want to listen to again, and earworms in their mind. Got to make it memorable. Otherwise, what are you doing? No, I was so um upset in that moment where that guy told me my song wasn't memorable that I then spent the rest of my life trying to work out how to write songs that stay with you.
So he was being an arsehole, but in the end, he actually gave you extra motivation for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but that's what living is, isn't it? Like, that's how we build ourselves. It's the knocks and it's the good times and the bad times that make us who we are, make us whether we're any good at something. You need that.
Mm, you do indeed. So tell us a bit more about the album from a musical point of view and what you were going for with it.
Well, initially, okay, so there's sort of two threads to this. That's an interesting question. Initially, Ruddy and I discussed about going back to our sumo roots, going back to the 90s sound, the open tunings, the interestingly long arrangements, lots of instrumentals, dynamics. We wanted to try and make something that sounded like sumo. And if you listen to the record, there's a song called Starlight, which is the opening song. So Ruddy wrote the instrumentation for that, and he gave it to me, and I wrote the singing part. But that totally is him going, I'm going to take us back to where we were. It's sort of like pays homage to the song I'm Stained, which was from Sumo. So that was where he was wanting to go with it. And then I was writing songs where I was trying to get us a little bit sort of like dancey, and like sort of like clubby beats, and which is very different to where Ruddy wanted to go. But we found a middle ground, and I think it was like I'm submitting these songs to him, going, right, this is kind of a little bit dancey, which I know the word dancey would put Ruddy off. So instead of saying it's dancey, I would say to him, kind of sounds a bit like In Excess, don't you reckon? And he'd go, oh, yeah, cool, okay, yeah, because it's a bit dancey, like In Excess. I'm like, there we go. So once I sort of realised that I could sell him my dancey ideas masquerading in the Trojan horse of In Excess, we were able to find common ground with the whole record. And then it became a fusion of sort of homage to our 90s sound, but with a bit of a modern sort of,
Yes.
yeah, like danceable twist.
Nice. Now, when we spoke at Monday Bash last year, you said, and I quote, "I shit you not, but it's the best stuff we've ever written in our lives." Like, now the album's had time to digest with you a little bit more. Do you still feel that?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Because every single song, I listen to every single song and I love every bit of it. There's nothing I want to fast forward. There's no songs I go, oh, this sort of sucks. Um, every lyric moves to the next lyric, like as part of a story, which I never used to do. Like I used to sort of write lyrics and they would be like line by line. They kind of sound cool, but I fucking don't know what I'm talking about. I listen back and go, what's that song about? I got no idea. But I've learned now that each line, I mean, lyrics are like high class real estate. It's not like writing a book or a poem even. Like when you write a song, you've only got a certain amount of space where you can say something. So you have to the skill of it is to learn how to say what the message you want to get across, but in very little prose, because you've only got short little verses and you've got to wrap it all up in the chorus. And over the years, I've sort of really been honing in on how, ever since that guy told me I wasn't a memorable songwriter, I thought, why? Okay. And so a lot of it was honing in on the stories, and taking the listener on a journey that you can follow. So, you say something, you're in it, you can visualize it, and you're in the journey. There's no random lines that you go, what's that all about? I used to have them everywhere. I don't have them anymore. So I guess maybe that's why I love it so much, because I'm so connected to it. And I just feel like we've got better. I feel like we did a great job in the 90s and we were happy with those records, but we had 10 years off. We all went and did different music. We learnt stuff. Ruddy was in all these different bands and he came back with a whole library of new influences, and so did I. And we're like, okay, we're the same people, but we're not really, because we've learned all this stuff. So why don't we bring in all the cool shit that we've learned and make something different, but paying homage to who we were? And that's where we're at. And I think it's been really good for us. And I love it. I love every song.
Sure. Now, I'm normally one of those people when I listen to an album, as soon as a ballad comes on, I'm like, fuck it, skip, fuck it, skip. But I came to Diamonds on your album, and something about it caught me. And listening through it, like, is that you playing piano on that song?
Yeah, so I wrote
It's
that
a
for my
beautiful, beautiful song. Like, I actually, instead of fast forwarding it, I skipped back and I listened to it again afterwards. It's a beautiful piece of work.
Thank you, Kris. Yeah, I wrote that for my solo album, and then I played it to Ruddy, and he went, "Oh no, let's record it." And I was like, "Oh no," because it was the flagship of my solo record. I was like, "This is a great song." And then he's like, "No, we want it." And I was like, "Of course you do." But I thought, I mean, I did play it to him with that option, and I do know that once I give them a song, it will be better. Once it's got the Superjesus treatment, they'll make it beautiful. So I thought, take your ego out of it, let them have it, and they made it. They took it to the next level. Like how I had it before was lovely, but they made it really special.
Actually, on those lines, like, you do a lot of writing for your solo stuff and for the Super Gs and for other people. So how do you decide what to use on your solo records and what you're going to submit to the Super Jesus?
Well, it was always really easy before because our sounds were so different, our styles were so different. But it's getting harder because the styles are starting to fuse. It's getting so hard even that I have like 15, 20 tracks for a solo record sitting in my demo box that I'm about to work on once the Superjesus one is out. And the guys are saying to me, "Well, what do you got? Like, should it be a Superjesus album?" I'm like, well, maybe, but like I'm not sure how far we can push these boundaries of how pop we want to go, or because some of it's quite pop and a little bit girly. We've also got to be careful of like lyrics, like because in the Superjesus, like that's sort of like a man's band, it's a boys' band. Like men dig the Superjesus. I've seen our stats; it's all men, 30 to 50-year-old men. I'm like, okay, so then I'm writing these really girly lyrics. So the boys are like, maybe that's for your solo album.
That's an interesting point, but it's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. So I think that lyrically is what really defines it, helps separate it. Whether it's too personal as well, like some of the songs that are too personal, I like to keep them for solo because I feel like when I'm in the band, I'm speaking on behalf of everyone, like as everyone in the band. I mean, so I'm the spokesperson for them, so I can't be saying personal stuff about my lady life. I've got to just be really general and it's something we can all chant to and enjoy. But then when I'm solo, I can get deep and particular.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Very cool. You've also got a wicked cover of Gen X's Dancing with Myself on there. Like, why choose that song to cover, and how much work did it take to put your spin on it?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't really think we spun on it that much. We just jammed on it once and when we were supposed to just put it out as a fun side piece. It was Ruddy's idea, actually. And then we liked it so much and it worked and we're like, let's put it on the album. Why not? Why would, because we've always been so anti-covers. Oh, don't do a cover. Oh, you can't do covers, because in the 90s that was really uncool to do covers. You can't do a cover. But then we're like, well, Green Spoon did, like, we can do a cover.
If you can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
There was another quote from you at Monday that I found very interesting, and you said that experiences allowed you to work out the power of simplicity. Now, can you
Yeah.
elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, because it's like the alchemist. You walk 100 miles to come back to where you were to realize you were fine in the first place. So you come up with a lot of, the brain is a funny thing. It comes up with so much interesting tangents and gold and junk. It's like golden junk. And it'll take you on all these different places. And you've got to do that journey in order to realize what you had in the beginning. Without doing the journey, you don't really notice what you've got. So I do this big long journey and I write all these elaborate pieces. And then I go back and I scratch it all out bit by bit. And I go, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. In fact, I don't need any of this. And sometimes that's hard to proofread yourself to that degree because you've got to ditch things that 10 minutes ago you thought were gold. Oh, that chorus is great. Well, no, it's actually shit. So let's get rid of it. And then you end up just coming back to square one because simplicity, the simplest songs are the hardest ones to write. But that's what you have. That's what you want because no one wants to go to a gig and try and remember. I mean, unless it's Hotel California or something, which is such good lyrics that you remember them all. But people just want something repetitive that they can jump around to and have fun. And I've thought that too. Like when I'm at a bar or a club, I want to be able to sing along because it gives me something to do with my face. Otherwise, I'm just looking at people going, I want to go, we're not gonna take it. No, you're looking around. That's right, guys. So the simplest you can do. It's the hardest thing to be simple and also to connect. And you've got to walk a long way to come back to cut it. But you can't just wake up and do it. Well, I can't anyway.
Nice. So to celebrate the new album, the Superjesus will be heading out on a national tour, starting in Sydney on June the 6th. Then you hit Avalon, Melbourne, Byron Heads, Brisbane and Sunshine Coast, and finish in Adelaide on July the 5th. So are you going to be focusing more on the new album, or is it going to be a bit of a spread mixture?
Well, we're going to be so bold as to play the entire fucking new album.
Yeah, it's sad.
And then do a set of greatest hits.
Nice.
Because we love the album so much. And we're like, well, we've released 6 singles, so everyone knows 6 songs. So is it going to kill us to just jam in the other 4 because we love them? And then we'll play all the other songs as well. But normally when you release an album, you go on tour and you'd play maybe 3 or 4 songs from the new album and that's it. And you may never play any of those other songs again. I think back of all our other albums, we've never played any of those songs live, just the singles. But we love these songs so much, we want to play them all. I'm dying to play them all. I want to play Gangbusters live. Fuck yeah, I do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's just what we have to do. Just got to play longer.
Well, are you going to reel the piano out for diamonds?
Well, we've been talking about that. Like, do we bother carrying a piano around for the whole tour for one song? And then when we did the video clip, I had an acoustic there, and we did half of it like miming with me on the acoustic. And when the song stopped, we just started playing it, and we're like, this sounds great. So I think we're just going to do that on acoustic now because it sounds really good, and then it saves us taking a piano.
Yeah, true. And you're also giving the opportunity for a local band to open each night, which is on your press release or your website. It's a great concept. So run us through that.
Yeah, well, normally we just get a band through our agent who will go, take this band. This is a band we've just signed. We want to, give them a leg up. Can you take them on tour? And we go, yeah, sure. But this time we were like, we want to find bands that don't have agents. We want to find bands in each town. So we want a different band every night. We want like the hero of each town. So send us everyone in the town who's a musician who can be bothered if you're interested. Please send us your tracks, and we'll pick what we think is the hero of each town, and then we can do what we can to catapult them, help them with their publicity, and then it's also a novelty. We get to discover new acts. They get to play on bigger stages, and we feel cool because we sort of found something fresh.
That's awesome. And where do people go to find out or find that form to apply?
It's on our website, superjesus.com.
Very cool. Now, I read a quote recently from Stuart that said the Superjesus are not going anywhere soon. Like, I'm sure music lovers and fans around the country are going to be glad to hear that. Like, you aren't going anywhere.
No, we're never breaking up. We will play live until we die. And you can mark my words and quote me on that in 20 years. We'll be like, I've just got one more gig in me. We'll just keep on going. That's what we do. We call ourselves lifers. We're in it for life.
Yeah, right. Now, before I let you go today, Sarah, I've got a new segment I've started called Photo Bomb. So basically, I've trolled through your social media before you've had a chat. I've come up with a few photos I want to talk to you a bit more about.
Okay.
So the first one is you're known and loved by photographers worldwide for one thing other than musical talent, and that's your energy on stage. Like your signature move is jumping from the drum riser. Like that there, you've got some serious air on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got flat feet too, so that's never pretty on landing.
Has it ever gone pear-shaped?
Once.
Once? Would that be
Online? I hope not.
would it be that time?
That could be it.
Sorry, I had to throw that in.
I think that's it. Wow, that looks bad. It's a wonder I'm not in more strife. That looks.
Yeah, no, you look like you should have done yourself some damage.
Yeah, no, but, it's all right. Just get up and keep going.
Thank fuck you weren't wearing a skirt.
Exactly. That's why I don't wear skirts. That's the number one reason. You never know what kind of strange position you're going to get yourself into.
Then the other one I found was this pearl of a photo back from when Kris supported the Superjesus in Adelaide.
Oh, that is a good photo. And hey, do you notice the one interesting, strange thing about that photo? Do you see the special guest in there with us? Underneath Gene Simmons next to me.
No.
See the chick in there in front of Gene Simmons?
Yeah, I can't see it close up. Who is it?
That's Dallas Frasco.
Oh, wow.
She's my mate. I bought her. She was my +1 for the gig. I bought her for fun. And then I was like, we've got to go have a photo with Kris. She was like, oh my God, can I come? I went, yeah, absolutely. Let's go. And I dragged her into our photo.